Nowadays, it's very common for architects and engineers to use other materials aside from the one established before to save money and time in their constructions. These decisions are having a lot of consequences in our society, and a lot of people are suffering the damage. The family of Mr. Pedraza is one example of the repercussion of using alternative materials. Last week, on November 3rd, the house of Mr. Pedraza collapsed while he and his family were still inside, sleeping. In this interview, Mr. Pedraza talks about his whole experience.
What happened was I was sleeping in my house and all of a sudden I started hearing a tremor. It was moving a little bit. I had no idea what was happening. And over the minute that was passed, it started to get even bigger and worse, and I got really scared about that. So what I decided, I took all my family out, and while I took them out, we were watching, we were scared, we were on the unknown of what was happening to our own house, and all of a sudden, it just collapsed on us. Everything was broken, destroyed. We had no home, no belongings, everything. At least thank God we were safe. We had the chance and the time to get out, and thank God we had the opportunity to still be here. But it was something horrible. I felt really bad. I had no idea why it happened. There wasn't an earthquake. There wasn't heavy rain, storm, nothing at all. It just happened all of a sudden.
Even though the exact reasons of this collapse are still unknown, the architect of the house, Antonio Chaya, may know some factors that led to this event.
The reason why we were forced to use cheaper and alternative materials was because we were short in time and the materials weren't arriving, and the workers we needed for the materials to replace it were not answering. So we were in a dilemma if we needed to finish the house in time. We needed to use these alternative materials, and since we didn't consider all the possible consequences, we ended with this catastrophe that happened. And I didn't thought it will cause a lot of damage like it did, and I'm really sorry for this family.
After hearing the reasons of the architect, Camila Femat, expert on this topic, explains the consequences of using cheap or alternative material in constructions.
Nowadays, many architects decide to use alternative materials to construct, but they don't realize all the damage that can cause. They do it to save money and to save time, but at the end, the building collapses and the damage is bigger because families stay without their houses, their home. They didn't save any money nor time because they have to start again, and they have to pay for it.
Now we know that although it may seem as a good idea to replace materials for cheaper ones to save money and or time, this is not worth it, and the consequences can be catastrophic.